On today's video, we're gonna look at every single piece of equipment that was in Rise of Kingdoms prior to the latest equipment update. In this video, we're gonna go over the changes of cost to make, as well as every single stat that changed, as well as what direction did this piece of equipment change to be compared to what it was before. And I have a small silver lining that you all are really gonna dig. So sit back, drop a like on the video. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to Gekko Gaming. Today's video is a bit long, but it will cover every single piece of equipment in Rise of Kingdoms, and down below on the time, you're gonna be able to skip to each and every category, so you can go look at the category you wanna look at, and we're gonna go based on high quality to low quality, all the changes of this update. Before we start though, really quickly, I'm a sponsored content creator by Rise of Kingdoms. If you enjoyed the content, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get a notification. Listen, we've processed a bunch of data, worked hours on this, so I'd appreciate a bunch of likes on the video, and we will make all this data available potentially, depending on, if y'all want to drop some likes on the video or not. It'll be available anyway in the Discord down below in a few days, so make sure you join that as well. Okay. First and foremost, I want to address some comments because you guys seem to yet again only focus on what kills the game and not what happens that is good in the game. And here is a point of view that you all are completely not looking at. And it seems that the vast majority of comments are like, killed F2P, F2P are dead. Let me show you something. Did you know that overall, this update brought down the cost of equipment overall by 27%. As a matter of fact, the cost of epic equipment has gone down on average overall by 42%. 42% less epic materials are required to make epic equipment. How is that killing free-to-play players? You're literally making it almost half the cost to have epic equipment. It is making epic equipment much more accessible to everybody, including non-spenders. Blue equipment has gone down by 33.6% on the average overall of cost. You are saying this is killing free-to-play, but you know how many free-to-play players, legit free-to-play players, big free-to-play players, new free-to-play players have come to me and said, this is one of the better things that's happened to us. 42% cheaper to make epic equipment. And on top of that, we got all of the equipment that we had, all the materials we had into choosem chests. So now we can craft epic equipment. Really? How is this bad for free-to-play? I don't get it. Yes, the top is getting harder to reach. The gap between free-to-play and massive whales is growing, but it was always big. You shouldn't be looking at what kills free-to-play players as the gap between pay-to-win and free-to-play players, because that'll always grow no matter what. This is a pay-to-win game. But the real question is how much more of the game is accessible to free-to-play players, not whether or not they can compete with the paying players. And so 42% cheaper equipment, epic equipment, means it's more accessible to free-to-play players. The fact that you can get those equipment pieces much quicker, you can get better drop rates on equipment materials. You have now the keys for equipment materials that you get every single day by doing your daily activities, and then you can open those chests. You get a chest every 2 days. You get equipment materials out of doing your Sunset Canyon every single day, and you also get blueprints out of doing Sunset Canyon every single day. How is this killing free to play? I don't know. Keep in mind that you get a ton of discount, and so with all that being said, our first marker is the weapons category. And in the weapons category, we're going to start off with the Trial of the Lost Kingdom. Trial of the Lost Kingdom can only be achieved from buying the VIP 16 pack. However, it also had a decrease in the materials needed, which is weird, right? You can't really get this anywhere else. This decreased. And for the record, I'm going to have to keep looking at the Excel sheet because it's a massive sheet of data, and I want to give you the right information, not just, whatever I think to tell you, right? So the Trial of the Lost Kingdom went down in cost of materials by about 75 materials. and it's a 62.5% discount on creating this, even though you can't create it. The change on it was a massive 5% cavalry defense, which is kind of nutty. It's kind of nutty. It makes this such a heavy cavalry piece, which it already was. But now, seeing folks using the infantry health with this is probably not going to be a thing anymore. Folks are going to put it on a cavalry march more than anything else. Our next piece of equipment is the Golden Age, my favorite piece of equipment. It hasn't decreased in price at all. That's right. This piece of equipment used to cost 100 equipment materials to make, and it still does. And now it's more of the wood and all that, but it still costs 100. Kind of sucks, but they added more ways to get it out of the blueprints, right? Including Garden of Infinity. You now have it in the VIP shop from the chests. You have it in Sunset Canyon potentially as well. You can get it out of the tavern, which is awesome. You can roll for it and hope and pray. Soroli Crisis will have it as well. And of course, the usual ways you used to get it before. Much more ways to get it. You can't get it anymore from, well, you can out of Sunset Canyon, but it's a different way to get it. More ways to get it means you'll consistently potentially get more blueprints. We're going to have to track that. So the Golden Age went up quite nicely, 5% archer defense, and that's about the stat that changed. The rest remained as is, and this indeed became a more archer-focused piece of equipment, which it already was prior, but now it's so much more. Our next piece of equipment is the Heart of Saint. Heart of Saint didn't really, let's take a look. It did not really change in terms of the cost. Once more, this was 100 equipment before, and it is 100 equipment now. To make matters even nicer, it became even further a cavalry piece of equipment. Now you have two pieces of equipment in the weapon category with over 10% stats. Defense on cav went up by 5%, just as well as the the Trial of the Lost Kingdom did. And so good stuff changing there. The Scepter of the Forest Guardian did not change at all. Gathering and siege stats did not change whatsoever. The only thing that changed about it is that now you only need to use bones for gathering equipment. This is a good and a bad thing. The good thing is that, well, you don't need to worry about bones anymore to produce bones unless you get them out of random chests and stuff like that, which will then kind of suck. But then eventually, just from getting them randomly, you'll end up being able to make more gathering equipment, and you'll end up getting more of these blueprints as time goes by. So it's the bones are a little bit of a waste, quote unquote, if you don't need gathering equipment. But at the same time, you'll be able to get gathering equipment eventually, because it'll naturally happen. You're not going to have to waste materials to get gathering equipment. You're now just going to have to use the bones that you get randomly from events and stuff like that, random chests, and a little bit of bad luck, I guess. So this hasn't changed whatsoever, with the exception of now it costs 65% less materials. So 65% discount on this. Yeah, I don't see very much use for it. But let's move on to the Staff of the Lost. The Staff of the Lost also got a little bit of a discount. That's right, a 18.2% discount in the material costs. It costs 20 less materials to make it. It changed in terms of archer defense. The archer defense on this went up by 3%, and this now became a more heavily archer type of equipment. A blue piece of equipment, very, very nice overall. The way you can get its blueprints is through Sunset Canyon, the chests from Sunset Canyon, Soroli Crisis, as well as Tavern. I'm assuming that once Soroli Crisis pops up, it'll be kind of like the Sunset Canyon chests. You'll be able to get these random blueprint chests that you can accumulate through Soroli and hopefully get them. If there'll be choose 'em chests, it'll be awesome. But I think Soroli's going to be all random chests. But we'll find out as soon as Soroli comes out. The next piece of equipment is the Gatekeeper Shield. The Gatekeeper Shield also got itself a nice little 18.2% discount, 20 materials less required to make it, and it increased its infantry health by 3%. This now skewed to be an infantry piece of equipment. Prior, it was an infantry and cavalry, 5% on the health. But now this one's much more wow, I lost my word there, aimed towards infantry. There's a nice little 60% more stats for infantry than for cavalry, but then again, you can still use it for cavalry, although there definitely is something to be said about cavalry equipment. This one, whew, oh boy. Our next piece of equipment is the Vanguard Halberd. Now, this thing hasn't changed in terms of its cost at all, but in terms of stats, it actually didn't change either. This is one of those pieces that was fairly good before. It remained the same. No changes here. Blessed Blade, on the other hand, seems to have had a little bit of a change with a decrease of cost, 27.3% less materials to make this happen. That's a surprising one for me. They actually decreased the price of some of these green equipment sets, and it did change a little bit. Infantry health gained another 2%, 6% infantry health out of a green piece of equipment. And you tell me the free-to-play players died out of this update, right? Give them a 27% discount on making a green piece of equipment and add another, 50% infantry health onto it, but definitely killed the free-to-play players, definitely. This sharp longsword didn't change whatsoever. Whatever it was before, it is right now. Our next category is indeed the helmets. Now, we're going to start off with a Revival helmet, which now is available not only out of Ian's Ballids, but also out of Sunset Canyon chests, Golden Kingdom chests, Garden of Infinity, something like that. We're going to have to see what changes in Garden of Infinity, the VIP shop chests, and from other events. The Revival helmet has gained a stupendous discount of 55.6% in the materials costs. I mean, I made this. I got the equipment and the materials back for sure, but it went down by 56%, almost 56%. And you tell me free-to-play players died out of this update, right? Archer defense went up by 2.5%, making this an archer-specific helmet. And yeah, overall, a great change for me. I love it. I built it for archers, and now my archers got a little bit of extra juice. The next piece of equipment is the Abyssal Visage, which now we can also get out of a bunch of different places. Thank God, back in the day, you could only get it twice from the quests that were part of like creating equipment materials, and you'd get 2 of them. I need to finish those quests now again, which they reset, by the way. So go make cheap equipment that you have and dismantle it. Like if you have a ton of these types of blueprints, go make them and dismantle, you'll get your materials back, and you'll finish quests, which will give you more materials and more blueprints. Those reset, so make sure you do them if you hadn't done them, if you did them in the past. But anyway, the Abyssal Visage, now available in a bunch of different places, got itself 4% more cavalry attack and a 44.5% discount on the materials needed to craft it. Rest in peace, free-to-play players. Rest in peace indeed. The Mask of the Forest Guardian is another gathering piece of equipment. It's once more only bones. Nothing changed in terms of its stats because those haven't changed. It only went down stupendously in price by 72%, by the way. And getting these equipment materials, these equipment blueprints is available from a bunch of different places now. Going into a Harvester's, again, another piece of equipment that is strictly for gathering, went down in cost of creation by 57%. And you can get them now from a bunch of different places. And yeah, another gathering set that you can build yourself if you feel like doing it. And it's cheaper, and might as well do it, right? There's no use for bones with the exception of that. The Expedition War Helmet, one of the better pieces of equipment for cavalry, just turned even better. 2% more for the cavalry defense department, and make it a 15% discount in the materials needed to craft it. I mean, you don't even need to grind the barbarian keeps and forts anymore for it, which I believe you didn't have to for a little bit. You have it comes out of Ceroli Crisis. I think that's where it came from before. That's my bad. But now you can get it from Sunset Canyon chests, from the tavern, as well as from Golden Kingdom. Nice little changes in here for that as well. The Helmet of the Phoenix also got itself a nice little discount. Nothing very big, about 28% worth of a change, and it gained a nice little 2% archer defense on it to make it even more archer based. This piece of equipment was back in the day only achievable from hunting guardians, and then it became part of keeps and forts, and now it's part of a bunch of different places, including Sunset Canyon, the tavern, and all that good stuff. Of course, I ended up getting one from the tavern yesterday when we opened keys, because I don't have enough of those blueprints, right? And finally, our good old iron helmet. It changed to nothing. It's okay. Not a big deal. But we crafted a few of them to get equipment quests done, to get more materials and all that. I recommend make like a little bit of iron ore through the regular like daily equipment materials that you're making, and then just forge, dismantle, forge, dismantle, forge, dismantle. You get a bunch of quests done for free, essentially. Little tip for you all. Our next category are the armors. The armors have gotten themselves a nice little, very nice change actually in the cost. Let's start off with, with the Milky Way. Kind of weird. The Milky Way was it just disappeared out of the game, right? For a little while. I had 15 of them and then poof, never to be seen again. Now it's back, and it's back big time. It is a massively good piece of equipment that you can get now out of Sunset Canyon, Tavern, Shadow Legion Invasion, Lucerne Scrolls. That's a new one. I haven't seen this before. It can be obtained through Lucerne Scrolls. That's interesting. And from other events. The Milky Way, unfortunately, did not change in its cost to make. It was 60 materials. It still is 60 materials. However, it gained a stupendous 6% Archer health. Milky Way, I need to get it. I need to get it. That is insane. 12% Archer health on a piece of equipment that is fairly accessible nowadays. We gotta get it. We have to get it. On the other side of it, there's Shadow Legion Retribution distribution. Shadow Legion Retribution, also 0 changes in terms of cost. However, 7% cavalry attack. This became a super must for cavalry chest pieces. It's available across the board. Lucerne Scroll once more, Sunset Canyon Tavern, and Shadow Legion Invasion. Unfortunately, though, no changes in the cost of making it, which kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is. The Robe of the Forest Guardian got a nice little 72% discount. It's a gathering equipment. You can get a bunch of them from all over the place and use your bones at some point to get yourself some faster gathering. Dark Lord's Blessing. I worked so hard to get these blueprints and to try to proc once more, and then it gained 3% cavalry defense and became a cavalry-based piece, chest piece. Rest in peace for me. But it gained a 33% discount in terms of the materials required to make it, and so it's a third cheaper to make, and you gain more cavalry defense out of it. So that's a very, 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 very nice piece of equipment to work on, especially for those cavalry-based players. On the other hand, the Revival Plate, which was the same as the Dark Lord's Blessing in terms of stats, it gained 2.5% Archer attack. This became the new thing for chest pieces for archers at the epic level. It also gained a 33% discount in terms of materials required, which is very, very nice. And it now can be achieved through the blueprint can be found in a bunch of different places, not only Ian's Ballets. Thank the Lord, because Ian's Ballets just disappeared out of the game one day, right? And we've been waiting for it since. And rest in peace, been waiting for those damn freaking blueprints. Anyway, we saw cavalry increase, we saw archers increase. What happens here? The Quinn Soul turned into an infantry-based chest piece with an also 33% discount. Essentially, cavalry, archers, infantry, and a freaking increase on the infantry attack makes it a very, very nice piece of equipment for infantry sets. We're going to spend a bunch of materials fairly soon to make these nice little mid-tier sets for infantry and improve our archers set even further. We're going to talk about what's what and how you should approach this update in terms of creating your new sets of equipment, because the approach on how to create them has changed, but those videos are coming up very soon to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that too. A gathering chest piece is nothing very, very interesting. It changed though, 57% worth of a discount. Stats didn't change. You use the bones, and you can get this out of a bunch of places. Not only, I believe it used to be only Shadow Legion, I think, or Ian's Ballads, and now it's available from a bunch of places. Gathering chest piece, a little bit less interesting for us. The Commander's Heavy Armor is back, baby. It gained a 14% discount in terms of the material choice, and on top of that became an archer equipment rather than an infantry one. 6% archer health out of a blue piece of equipment, which costs 15%, 14.3% less materials. And you can get the blueprints now out of a bunch of different places, not only through quests. You can get it from Sunset Canyon, you can get it from the Tavern, and from Shadow Legion Invasion. So the Commander's Heavy Armor is back. It's massively good for archers, and it definitely killed the free-to-play players, right? Definitely. Having 6% archer health on a blue piece of equipment that costs 15% less, I feel so bad for free-to-play players. I really, really, really do. Infantry breastplate, 28% discount in the materials required to make it. I have 8 of them, and it became an infantry-based piece of equipment, 2% more on the infantry defense. You get the blueprints out of a bunch of different places, including the courier station. That's how I have so many of them. I keep getting them from the courier station for resources. This is really nice, a really nice mid-piece for some infantry. We're going to talk about that in a future video, like I mentioned before. The Milanese plate, now available from a bunch of places. Not only Lohar anymore, hallelujah, we don't need to go hunt Lohars anymore. We might get it from Sunset Canyon, from the Tavern, and from Shadow Legion. I believe Shadow Legion will have chests now or something like that. This also gained a 28.6% difference in the cost, and it upped the cavalry defense by about 1%, this being a more cavalry-based piece of equipment. And chainmail didn't change at all. Our third category in this video are the gloves. The gloves, again, having some changes to them. We're going to start off with the Sacred Grips. The number one thing about the Sacred Grips is now you can get them out of a bunch of places, not only Temple Guardians, Ian's Ballads. I'm assuming you can get, there'll be like chests that you can get them, Lucerne Scroll, Golden Kingdom, and even Tavern, so you don't need to grind the temple chests, the Temple Guardians anymore, and restrict Temple Guardians so that, you know, very, very weak or very, very free-to-play player ends up finding this and picking it up and then going, oh, damn, I picked it up, but I'm never, ever going to make it. Now you can get it out of a bunch of different places. It gained 3% worth of infantry defense. It became an infantry type of equipment, but unfortunately, just like every other legendary, no changes in the materials required to make it. And so it became an infantry-based type of equipment. Ian's Choice, on the other hand, gained itself absolutely nothing, which was really weird. I honestly, this was insanely good before. It didn't change at all. The only thing that changed is how you can get it now, more ways to get it, which is all right. It's not that bad. I would have wished they gave us a little bit more archer attack. Come on, man. 8% archer attack. Unfortunately for us, the Claws of the Forest Guardian are 75% discount on the materials needed. You use bones, gathering speed, nothing really interesting there. I do think that gathering sets are important. For the record, we will get a bunch of bones out of like random stuff anyway, so you will eventually, naturally, through playing the game and getting unlucky, quote unquote, you'll have bones and you'll get these blueprints for the same reason and eventually just make more sets. It is what it is, though, right? It's not the worst thing on earth. On the other hand, what is changing quite drastically is the Revival Gauntlets. They were the first ones up there. They changed by 33% in terms of cost, for the record, just like we had previously, and we showed that we have cavalry, archers, and infantry types of sets. You have in here the archers, these are the infantries, and these are the cavalries. As a matter of fact, I believe that the cavalry one did not change much at all. All that changed on it was the fact that it's 33% cheaper to make because it was already fairly nasty. But in these guys right here, you have I believe 2.5% more of this is Seth's brutality. You get 3.5% more infantry defense. That makes it a very good infantry piece. 4.5% on the Revival Gauntlet, and 3 and 3. That's 6% worth of stats on Ian's Isit's Sufferance. all of these available from a bunch of different places. Osiris League was the only way back in the day. Now you can get it out of a bunch of different places, including Ian's Ballads, Golden Kingdom, VIP shop, and all that good stuff. The Revival Gauntlet just as well. Just now went from Ian's Ballads to also Golden Kingdom, Garden of Infinity, VIP shop, and all that stuff. So these three, 33% discount on the equipment materials required, and a jack up in the stats with the exception of these guys. These two became specific for one type of troop and gained a buff. From there, we go into what's next, the Windswept Bracers. I believe it's these guys right here. The Windswept Bracers gained a 20% discount in materials required and a change in two stats. The cavalry health and the infantry health went up. As a matter of fact, both are now equal. 0.5% up for the cavalry health and 1.5% in the infantry. Now, Windswept becomes like an early tier set for cavalry and infantry at the same time. Looking interesting. Add to that the 20% discount in materials. I'm not complaining at all, and so aren't the free-to-play players. I'm gonna keep saying that all video, by the way, because yeah, I found that really, really amusing. At a 3% more archer attack, this became an archer-based piece of equipment and a 20% discount on this. It kind of makes sense, right? This right here is good for infantry and cavalry, and so they went here for more archer-based and a 20% discount just as much. Brand new piece of equipment is less relevant for us. The leather gloves had a 30% discount in the cost of making them and got another 0.5% on that archer health. Good for me. I have this as for my archers. It used to be the best piece of equipment for archers and for early stage until you ended up with the Revival Gauntlets, but I like the fact that the greens got a little bit of a buff as well. Unfortunately, though, for the regular pieces of equipment, nothing's changed. Next up are the legs or pants, whatever you want to call them. They got a nice little change as well. Let's start off with the Eternal Knight. The Eternal Knight gained a stupid amount of infantry defense. It gained 7% infantry defense, making this an infantry piece of equipment. No changes in prices, but definitely a buff, a big boy buff for the infantry stats right there. The counter to that came for the cavalry health in Ash of Dawn. Freaking 7% cavalry health, Ash of Dawn, crazy stuff. And there is a lot to talk about these sets. There's a lot of different types of sets you can create nowadays in Rise of Kingdoms, and this is why this update was so great. And boy, oh boy, we're going to be seeing some very, very interesting sets coming up in our video very, very soon about the different types of equipment sets that you should keep an eye on. Karok Humility, 33% discount, and infantry health went up by 3%, 33% discount on the materials required, and to make it better, more ways to get it. On top of Karok Ceremony, you can get it out of the VIP shop and out of the tavern. This is not a bad piece of equipment at all for infantry, and 8% is not bad for an epic whatsoever. So good stuff right there. Materials-wise, nothing changed. There's a huge discount on the Harvesters. I'm sorry, we skipped the Gladiators, didn't we? We have the Gladiators as well, which is another epic piece of equipment. It gained cavalry health. Interestingly enough, infantry health and cavalry health in here, but we don't see on the old equipment the archers piece, but the archers pieces came down here with defense. Not too happy about it. I would have preferred the health, but hey, more cavalry health for the cavalry players and another 33% discount on the materials required. You can get these out of a bunch of different places, which is nice. Very, very nice. I had started this, and we can continue with this. The Elite Gathering Pants. They're now available from a few different places. Not only the one place previously was through Soroli Crisis. They cost much less to create, 57% discount, and nothing changed in their stats. Use your bones for this at some point, either for this or any other gathering piece of equipment. Bones are strictly for gathering equipment as of right now, and so any bones you get out of like random stuff and not, you know, you don't create them, hopefully. If you're creating them, it's for gathering equipment, but if you get them out of like random chests and stuff like that, at least you can make yourself some gathering equipment for fairly cheap. The Greaves of Exile. Greaves of Exile Gained a 14% discount and more archer defense. Good for me. I use them for archers. 3% more archer defense makes this an archer-based legs. And at a nice 14.5% discount, it's cheaper to make. You can also get these out of a bunch of different places, but as you can see, we're not lacking the blueprints. Going forward in our list, Vanguard Greaves changed in nothing. They were good before, they're great now, and nothing changed on them. The Ranger Trousers, on the other hand, had a little bit of a change. 28% discount on the materials required to make them, and 2% more on infantry attack. And so that's the change right there. You can now get them out of a bunch of different places, not only Lohar, Soroli Crisis, and Shadow Legion, as well as the Tavern. We have 2 of these, and I'll probably make them for an infantry piece of equipment, because why not, right? As usual, our normal piece of equipment gets nothing into it. The next category up is the boots, and we start off straight with Shio's Return, which betrayed me. I'm kind of sad about them, but it is what it is. 3% more infantry defense, 0 change in the cost of making them. I made it for my archers, and it turned out to be an infantry type of equipment. Not too happy about it, but it is what it is. We'll put it on a nice infantry garrison march or something like that, and find ourselves a new pair of boots for our archer march. The good news is that you can now get it out of Lucerne Scroll, Ian's Ballets, the Tavern, as well as Lost Canyon. So it's not only a Lost Canyon piece of equipment anymore. And for the record, I believe that Eternal Night is the same. The Eternal Night is not only a Lost Canyon equipment anymore, so you can still get it even if you're not crazy good at Lost Canyon in the Lost Kingdom. Going forward and trying to figure out, what's the next, because honestly, there are a bunch of new shoes, and the ones that we had previously were the Cloud Racers. Now, the Cloud Racers straight up went and became a cavalry attack pair of boots, 33% discount to those. I'm assuming that these are infantry and those are archers. They do pretty much the same numbers of stats, except that we have health here, attack here, and defense here. So 5.5% cavalry attack puts this at a 33% discount from what it was before, with a nice little 3.5% increase on the cavalry stat. The Gathering Harvesting Boots, unfortunately, mean nothing for us. They changed, 60% discount on making them. Just bones. It's gathering. Like I've said before, bones are made strictly for gathering equipment. It's much cheaper to make gathering equipment. You'll get bones out of random chests anyway, and you can only use them for gathering equipment. So you'll eventually end up making these one way or another. They're available out of a bunch of different places, not only Soroli Crisis like before. And the Windswept Boots, on the other hand, do have a fairly big change. They changed in 2 different types of stats, which is actually fairly interesting. Not only the cavalry health went up by half a percent, infantry defense went up by 1.5%, maintaining that Windswept set thing that I said previously, which the Windswept set has now become a cavalry and infantry set. You can have stats, the exact same stats for cavalry and infantry on both of them, on all of them, and so they added an archer's counter to that, I believe. No, they didn't add a archer's counter to that. That's interesting. So you have an infantry health and infantry defense, but no archers whatsoever on the blues, which is interesting. The Windswept boots also dropped 20% in price, which is nice. It's a good thing for free-to-play players or folks who are looking to make more equipment for a bit cheaper. Not edged boots, the Boots of Reverence. The Boots of Reverence lost 30% worth of cost in here, 30% discount in the materials department, and gained themselves a 0.5% worth of infantry attack, making these a little bit more nice for infantry players. The edged boots lost 41% worth of the price. That's right, 41% discount on the materials required, and 1.5% up on the archer attack makes these archer-specific boots, which can be found through Courier Station, Quests, Taverns, Ian's Ballets. That's how we have so many of these. We keep buying them. And once more, the normal equipment gained and changed in nothing. Next category are the accessories. We'll start off with Skola's coin because guess what? Nothing's changed on it. It's the same thing. Why are we fighting for this? Please, please. We don't want to fight for this anymore. I have 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. 3 of them. I don't want to make them. Please. Pendant of Eternal Night, on the other hand, also changed in nothing. Kind of sucks. It is what it is. The legendaries have changed in absolutely nothing in the accessories department. But good news, Silent Trial did indeed change. 56% discount materials-wise. I am so happy. Essentially, back in the day, I was going to make one. Now I can make the two of them for the price of one. Of course, though, we killed the free-to-play players, right? We definitely killed them. 56% discount on the amulet as well. Delane's amulet goes down in half a price. So I guess we'll make some of those too. Essentially, I could have back in the day made two of these and that's that. Now I can make all four of these. I mean, really? That's awesome. On top of that, every other piece of accessory dropped in price by about 50%. And that's about that. Their stats didn't change too much. And that concludes all the equipment and everything that's changed. I did not take a look at the different boosts that the sets give. Unfortunately, I did not record any of that. And so I apologize for that one. But this really went over every single piece of equipment that was here before, what is now, what's changed, how much discount you get on materials, how much more stats do you get and where you can get these equipment materials and equipments in general, and the blueprints and all that good stuff. This video was hella long, took a long time to make. I'd really appreciate if you drop a like on it, and of course hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments down below, what are the equipment pieces that you are happy that changed, which ones you don't like that changed, and what are you planning? Over the next week, we're going to release a bunch of videos that are all about the types of sets of equipment that are available out there for infantry, cavalry, and archers, which ones you want to get and why. Situational sets are available now too. Everything and anything you need to know about equipment and how you should plan your equipment. So don't forget again to subscribe to the channel to know when those come out. I'm Gekko. I'm out of here. Appreciate it. Every single one of you who subscribed to the channel, who liked the video, who commented, who interact with me on my streams, who make this channel grow slowly and steadily. Hopefully one of these days will actually blow up and maybe reach levels that we haven't reached before. But as of right now, I appreciate every single one of you for all your continuous support. Take care and have a great rest of your weekend. Peace.